Part 36.14 Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed. We transition now from the intense and terrifying courtroom scene of the Day of Judgment, where the very limbs of the deniers testified against them, into a new, intensely sobering sequence within Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran. This segment, encompassing verses 66 through 70, shifts the focus dramatically from the specific, final legal consequence of spiritual denial to the absolute undeniable, and immediate power and sovereignty of Allah over the physical and existential fate of the transgressors in this life and the next. The verses illustrate with chilling clarity the ease and totality with which the Creator can instantaneously alter the destiny and fundamental capabilities of His creation, providing three powerful consecutive examples drawn from the realm of the possible, the natural, and the revealed text itself. These examples serve as a profound and direct challenge to the arrogant assumptions of those who believe their physical faculties are guaranteed, their worldly strength is permanent, or their lifespan is an assurance of continued existence without accountability or fear of immediate divine intervention. The sequence moves from the potential, instantaneous removal of sight and mobility, demonstrating the absolute fragility of the human body and its dependence on divine maintenance, to the observed inevitable process of human decay, reminding all of the transience of worldly strength and the constant, controlling hand of the Creator, operating unseen in every moment, governing every breath and heartbeat. The culmination of this section is a poignant restatement of the Quran's profound, decisive, and timeless purpose. It is not a mere collection of poetry or an elaborate fable crafted by human ingenuity, but a decisive reminder and a clear, illuminating book, designed solely to warn those who are spiritually alive and whose hearts' calb are receptive, the divine truth and the signs of the cosmos. This powerful exposition of divine power Qudra serves as the ultimate warning against spiritual arrogance, tactlessness, and negligence, stands as a definitive call to embrace the ilm and guidance delivered by the Prophet, peace be upon him, before the moment of reckoning arrives, confirming that only the cognizant and aware soul can truly benefit from the divinely sent warning and avoid the spiritual death of denial. Quran, Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran, chapter 36, verse 66. And had we willed, we would have blurred their eyes. Then they would race to the path. So how would they see? The 66th verse immediately and dramatically establishes the absolute, effortless control Allah holds over the very senses and destinies of humanity, even while they are in the throes of their worldly denial. And had we willed, we would have blurred their eyes. Then they would race to the path. So how would they see? This statement of divine will mashgah is deeply potent, functioning as a chilling hypothetical scenario that could become reality instantly. The phrase "had we willed wala nashbu" highlights that the perpetrators' current ease and capacity, including their ability to see, move, and deny, is purely a temporary concession, a moment of grace, not an inherent right, and could be revoked instantly and without effort, shattering their entire worldly perspective and reducing their power to zero in a single instant. The specific punishment contemplated, "we would have blurred their eyes," la amazonal ba ayunihim, signifies complete, instantaneous blindness, a total sealing of the physical organs of perception by a powerful divine stroke. This blindness is not a consequence of physical injury, but an act of powerful divine decree, perfectly mirroring and punishing their prior spiritual blindness, which blinded them to the evident, manifest truth that the Prophet, peace be upon him, brought. The subsequent image is one of desperate chaos and frantic disarray. Then they would race to the path fastabaka erg. They would rush frantically and confusedly to find their known path, the erg they walked in life, perhaps seeking escape, guidance, or merely the familiarity of their old route, but their haste and urgency would be completely futile and misdirected. The chilling question posed at the end is the rhetorical final verdict, an overwhelming question that requires no answer. So how would they see? Fa'ana yubayern. Without divine permission and sustained grace, their worldly path would become utterly inaccessible, swallowed by impenetrable darkness, demonstrating that sight, guidance, and direction are gifts maintained only by the Creator's grace and can be withdrawn as easily as they were granted. The contrast between their physical capacity to see in this life and their ultimate failure to utilize that sight for spiritual guidance is thus brutally exposed and condemned, showcasing the ultimate folly of spiritual negligence and misplaced confidence in temporary physical abilities. Kanzul Iman, Quran, Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran, chapter 36, verse 67. And had we willed, we would have transformed them in their places, and they would neither be able to proceed nor return. The 67th verse offers a second, equally dramatic and unsettling illustration of divine power, showcasing the absolute control over motion, form, and existential state, emphasizing the profound fragility and dependence of the human form, and had we willed, we would have transformed them in their places. Then they would neither be able to proceed nor return. Again, the potential action is initiated by the majestic, had we willed Wallah Nashbiyu, reinforcing the simplicity and ease of the command for the all-powerful and the instantaneous nature of the decree. The contemplated action here is we would have transformed them lama sakanam, which means to instantly change their form or nature, fixing them immovably, perhaps through a state of petrification, spiritual stasis, or complete rigid paralysis in their places, alb maknatahim, freezing them exactly where they stand or sit at the moment of the decree, regardless of their location or intention. This transformation is terrifying because it strikes at the core of human agency, mobility, and the capacity for self-determination. The consequence is definitive and total, sealing their fate through permanent immobility. Then they would neither be able to proceed nor return. Fam ista, amuyanwa, la yargien. They would lose all capacity for forward movement toward their worldly goals, all ability to flee from danger, or all means to retreat or return to their families or homes. They would become mere statues, paralyzed spectators of their own powerlessness and futility, fixed in a position of eternal, profound helplessness, a stark monument to their defiance. This example powerfully illustrates that movement, change, and the ability to exercise worldly choice are all temporary privileges sustained only by Allah's will and ongoing grace, and how easily human free will and physical capability can be replaced by absolute divine constraint. This serves as a stark, immediate warning to those who misuse their worldly freedom and physical ability in pursuit of denial and reckless transgression, foolishly assuming permanence where there is only fleeting conditional grace, and thus confirming the transient nature of all material power and the ultimate authority of the Creator. Kanzul Iman, Quran, Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran, chapter 36, verse 68. And he whom we lengthen his lifespan, we reverse him in creation. Do they not then have sense? The 68th verse introduces a philosophical, psychological, and biological example, drawing a profound lesson from the natural, observable cycle of human aging to emphasize the principle of divine control over life, growth, and decay. And he whom we lengthen his lifespan, we reverse him in creation. They not then have sense? The affirmation, he whom we lengthen his lifespan, while man knew a mirhu, refers to those granted a great age, reaching extreme senescence, becoming very old and infirm. The inevitable result, a universal phenomenon seen across all families and communities, is we reverse him in creation, nunaki, shuef, al-kalk. This reversal, or tanks, refers to the complete cycle of decline. The old person returns to a state of profound weakness, dependence, loss of memory, and loss of intellectual capacity, often mirroring the helplessness and reliance of early childhood. The strong becomes utterly weak, the knowledgeable becomes forgetful, the independent becomes reliant. The entire trajectory of growth and development is reversed by divine law. Proving that no human effort can halt the process of decay or defy the natural order established by Allah, this universal tragic process witnessed by all generations provides undeniable, palpable evidence of a powerful, controlling creator who governs not just the grand acts of creation, but the minute, inevitable processes of decline and decay, showing that life's end and its condition are determined solely by the Almighty's constant active decree. The final challenge is once again the urgent, accusatory question directed at the faculty of reason. Do they not then have sense? Afala ya'qilun? No. If they can observe this clear, undeniable, and cyclical pattern of reversal and decline in their own families and in their own bodies, how can they fail to logically deduce the absolute, undeniable power of the one who commands both growth and decay, life and death? This failure is presented as an intellectual, rational shortcoming, not just a spiritual one. Demonstrating a willful negligence in applying their God-given intellect AKL to the most obvious lessons of existence and the clear signs of the Creator's power manifest in their very beings, thereby proving their total lack of spiritual insight and understanding. Kanzul Iman, Quran, Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran, chapter 36, verse 69. And we did not teach him poetry, nor is it suitable for him. It is but a reminder and a clear Quran. The rejection of the slander is definitive and absolute. We did not teach him poetry, wa ma alamnahu ashir, and nor is it suitable for him, wa ma yan baglar. This not only denies the accusation that the Quran is merely eloquent verse crafted by a poet, but underscores that the Prophet's exalted status and divine mission were fundamentally incompatible with the often subjective, exaggerated, or worldly preoccupations of human poetry. The message of Tawhid is too profound, too absolute, and too transcendent to be equated with the mere artistic expressions of mortals, which are often tinged with ego and human passion. The Quran is therefore confirmed to be a higher order of speech, sourced directly and purely from the Creator, possessing inherent authority and flawless truth. It's true. Singular nature and purpose are then declared. It is but a reminder in Huwa il-Dakrun, a vital, necessary, and comprehensive remembrance of the truth, the covenant, and the ultimate reality, known intuitively by the soul. Serving to wake the heedless heart and, a clear Quran, Waqur Noon, Mubdeen, manifest, distinct, and illuminating reading that clarifies all ambiguities, distinguishes truth from falsehood, Furqan, and establishes the definitive path to truth and righteousness for all time, leaving no room for misinterpretation of the core message or its divine origin, standing as the ultimate testimony. Kanzul Iman, Quran Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran, chapter 36, verse 70, that he may warn him who is alive and the word may prove true against the disbelievers. The 70th verse concludes this segment by defining the precise, dual purpose and target audience of the divinely revealed Quran, summarizing its profound function in the cosmos, that he may warn him who is alive, and the word may prove true against the disbelievers. The primary affirmative purpose is that he may warn him who is alive, Luyundira man kane, Ion. This phrase is profoundly significant. It refers not merely to those who are biologically alive, but to those who are spiritually alive, whose heart's kalb are receptive, whose intellect akal is utilized, and whose conscience is still capable of being moved, illuminated, and accepting of the truth. The Quran's message is addressed specifically to the aware, receptive, and willing soul, for only a living heart can benefit from a warning and make a beneficial change in its trajectory. The secondary necessary consequence, reflecting divine justice, is that the word may prove true against the disbelievers, wa yagika al-kavu al-ulk-bayfern. For those who are spiritually dead, whose denial is absolute, stubborn, and willful, having refused to use their sense, The Quran serves its ultimate purpose by establishing the undeniable, comprehensive proof hujjah against them, leaving them without any conceivable excuse on the Day of Judgment. The word confirms their inevitable, self-created consequence, fulfilling the promise of justice for their intentional and sustained rejection of the light and the straight path, showing that even the revelation of mercy serves as proof against those who refuse to accept it, ensuring that accountability is based on absolute clarity and undeniable evidence. Hadith, the warning to the living heart. Verse 70 speaks of the Quran as a warning to him who is alive, emphasizing that true life is spiritual receptivity. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, frequently drew parallels between the state of the heart and its responsiveness to divine guidance, reinforcing the idea that the Quran's benefit is exclusively for the heart that is active, conscious, and aware. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, the example of one who remembers his Lord Allah and one who does not remember him is like the difference between the living and the dead. Sahih al-Bukhari, Hadith, number 6407, Book 80, asking permission. This concise and definitive hadith underscores the meaning of him who is alive in the Quranic verse with striking simplicity and profound philosophical weight. Spiritual life is defined not by biological function, but by the continuous act of remembrance, dhikr, an active recognition of Allah in one's life. The heart that engages in dhikr and is receptive to the Quran's message is considered living, capable of being warned, guided, and saved through the transformative power of the revelation. Conversely, the heart that is heedless, forgetful, denies the truth is deemed spiritually dead, regardless of the physical vitality of the body, as it cannot receive the divine light or benefit from the warning. The Quran, therefore, illuminates the path for the living hearts and simultaneously establishes the final, irreversible case against the dead hearts. The failure to use the sense akl mentioned earlier, verse 68, leads directly to the spiritual death mentioned here, proving the unified logic and perfect consistency of the divine revelation, ensuring that those who deny cannot claim ignorance or lack of warning. Let us now supplicate, drawing from the profound lessons of these verses, asking Allah to grant us a deeper understanding and to guide our every step. O Allah, the Master of all will and power, we implore you, do not blur our eyes on the path of truth, nor transform us in our places, making us unable to proceed or return. Grant us a life where age does not lead to the devastating reversal and creation of our sense, but rather an increase in ilm and wisdom. Protect us from equating the Quran with mere poetry. Make our hearts alive so that we may be truly warned and guided by its clear light, securing us from being among the disbelievers against whom the word may prove true. May Allah illuminate your heart and mind with the light of this divine ilm. May He make your channel a beacon of guidance for all who seek spiritual clarity and truth. May your efforts be a source of immense reward, and may you be granted the highest stations of paradise. May the peace and blessings of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. May He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth. And may your work be a testament to His magnificent names, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Ameen.